today we're going to talk about budgeting. I know 2 ways to budget. The first way, I've budgeted this way for a long time. One of them is a negative deficit. The second one is a positive deficit. Now, a negative deficit. What is a negative deficit? A negative is just what you've probably heard of, budgeting, just normal. A lot of people out there talk about saving, cutting expenses, staying the same, and you have to say no a lot. So you got to cut a lot of expenses. Don't go and get that Starbucks drink. Don't do all these things, extra things that you do on a daily basis that are costing you money. Look at what you're doing and cut expenses. That's a negative deficit budget, which for the average person, if it works for you and you're happy, keep on doing that. If it's working for you, if it's helping you pay off debt, if it's helping you invest, that's great. But I have a proposition to make. You have the second way, which I had never heard of until about 8 months ago when I read a book, and it talked about thinking in a positive budget. So you budget out your lifestyle, say your whole living, the way that you want to live, not necessarily extravagantly, but the way that you're currently living with your expenses before you cut expenses. Let's say you spend $4,000 a month altogether, bills, housing, all that, food, everything, eating out, whatever's on your budget that you do on the regular, you have in your budget is $4,000 a month in expenses. Instead of what the negative deficit you do is you cut expenses because your income is only $4,000 a month. So you don't have any room for budgeting. You don't have any room for investing. You don't have any room for paying off debt. So what a positive budget does is you just do a little twist on it. So let's say instead of going and cutting expenses, you look at your life, you look at your day, and you go, how can I make that extra money? Say I have a goal to pay off a $2,000 debt in 4 months. And so you need to put $500 a month extra on your credit card in order to pay that off by the time your goal is. Instead of cutting out your, let's say instead of not eating out for a month, instead of doing that, you go, okay, well, how can I make an extra $500 a month to pay off my debt? That way I can still live my life and I can still do the things that I enjoy and I can pay off debt. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, well, yeah, but I have no time, which I'm going to make a whole nother video about time and how to manage your time appropriately and how to look at your time, how you're spending your time, all that we're going to talk about. But just for today, I'm just going to talk about how you can make extra money and why that, obviously you want to watch the time video too that I'm going to make, and I'll make that soon. But like I said, there's 2 different choices. You have your negative deficit, which is the regular budget, save your money, cut your expenses, live modest, live below your means. I hear that a lot, is living below your means, which for me, just the sound coming out of my mouth, just the thought of living below my means makes me go, I live one life, just one. And if I'm thinking about living below my means, make your means bigger. I was not happy with where I was at before I met Earl. I was working 2 jobs. I was going to school full time, and I had a 2-year-old. I was a single mom, and I had money, but I had a little bit higher expenses. And I thought, well, living below my means, like I'm already I'm already so stressed out because of money, and then you want me to cut the few things that I have that are bringing me joy just so I can be debt free. So if somebody had presented the idea to me, say, hey, why don't you just go make some extra money on the side? And to some that might sound overwhelming, but I want you to just hear me out here. You have a choice in this. You have a choice to live below your means. If that makes you happy, then more power to you. If that makes you happy, if you're okay with that, then I applaud you. I know that's not where I'm at. And I talk to a lot of people that are just not happy where they're at financially. They have to say no a lot. And I personally do not like saying no to, I don't have fancy things. We're not huge. I mean, if you look back there, I've been talking about getting a bed frame. We just have the bed with the box spring. It's a nice bed, but we bought it a long time ago, and have not bought a bedroom set as much as we want to. We're just, we'd rather go spend 2 weeks in Mexico. Those are the kind of things that I don't want to say no to. I don't want to say no to my kids having experiences, because I know, my mom and dad fought and tooth and nail to provide for us, and I know, and I award them for all the stuff that they had to go through with 6 kids and only one income most of the time, on and off 2 incomes. But it's expensive to do that. And so we didn't get to, we went to Seaside a lot. But at the end of the day, I want my kids to see the world. I want all the experiences that having more money provides. So you have a choice. You can either be unhappy in your situation and keep, cutting away at your expenses and cutting away and putting more on debt, and just keep on, you're getting out of a hole essentially with debt, but you're kind of getting into a hole if that doesn't bring you joy. If the idea of cutting your expenses for 5 years and so you can be debt free, if that doesn't bring you joy, then make the choice to step into the second choice. Make a choice to look at your life, look at your time, and see what you can open up. Because you guys, there are so many ways to make money. So many ways. With internet, with technology's opened up this world where you don't even need a whole lot of time to make money. Go through your house. I did that. I went through my entire house and got rid of everything I don't use, and I sold it on eBay. I sold it on Craigslist, and I was like, I think the other day I sold something, an arm wire, that I never wear jewelry. It's just not something, I want to, and I do sometimes on date nights, but very rarely. I like a few pieces of jewelry, but I had this huge arm wire that I got for Christmas. I'm like, I don't even use it, and I ended up getting $75 for it. Things like that I was like, if you look at your budget and go, okay, well, $500 extra a month, what can I make? And break it down daily. It's really small when you think of it daily. I'm not good at math, but if you break down $500 a month daily, and you can start making that and opening up opportunities for you to say yes to more things, and look at your priorities, and look at what you want, what you really want in life. Because I think we all forget. I think you forget when you live, especially if you've been in that mindset of cutting expenses and budgeting and saying no to a lot of things. You forget what you want, and you just go about your day cutting expenses and going no, 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 no. And after you say no so many times, you forget what you want. So I think it's important that you write what you want, and you look at your priorities and say, okay, well, what do I want first? Because if you get that want, like, even if you're not looking at paying, I'm all about being debt free. I think it's very important. But if you're looking at your life, like right now, we're in a situation where we have some debt, but we're selling our house and making some money. So do we go and pay off that debt and now we're debt free? Or do we pay off some of our debt to just put a little bit on the side, and then put a little bit in savings, and then maybe put a little bit of aside for real estate investing, so that if things aren't so tight when we're looking at investing numbers, we don't have to say no to making more money with our money because we have to pay off debt, if that makes sense. That's a whole nother thing we'll talk about. But that's kind of the boat we're in now. And I want you to see what I'm saying is that you look at your priorities, because you have so much time. So even if it takes you 10 years to be debt free, but now you're financially free because you bought 5 rentals along the way that are paying now for your expenses that were before, or even 1 rental if you were able to buy 1 rental. I'm not saying you have to buy rentals, but that's one way that we make money. That's, we flip houses, we buy rentals, and we make cash flow. That's kind of how what we're, you need to look at it. And don't ever think you're stuck. Don't ever think you're stuck, because you're not. You can love your job and still make money on the side. I know a lot of people are like, I love my job. I'm not going to quit my job. Go ahead, do your job, and then make money on the side. It's not really how you get the money. It's that you're getting money to pay for the things that you want in your life. You just have to get creative. So 5-6 years ago, I joined a company called Advocare, and it brought out, I'm no longer with the company, but it gave me an opportunity to really get to know myself and open up doors that I was like, they were closed. Like, being creative is not something I'm good at. Or I take that back. See, I'm still working on it. Being creative is something that I am focusing on right now, because it's something that in the past I've closed myself off of. I said, I'm not creative. I said, that's not for me. I draw stick figures. I kind of put creativity in a box of like, this is what creativity means. It's not. Creativity is just thinking, just getting quiet and around you and thinking, what can I do? And I tell you right now, one thing that I've done recently that changed my process of creativity is, if I have a problem, which I have 3 kids, so I have, throughout my day, there's a lot of problems that we come across, that I come across. And I used to get really frustrated with my problems. I'm like, why is my problem, that's so stupid. I can't, this is so irritating, and, I just got frustrated. Now, whenever I have a problem, I'm like, what can I create to solve this problem? Because I can't be the only one to have this problem. I thought, just for example, I was doing laundry earlier. Hate laundry. Lately, too, it's been a pain in the butt. And when you have 3 kids, 2 of them change clothes 4 times a day, you have a lot of laundry. And so I was thinking, what if somebody could just make a thing that does your laundry for you, and all you have to do is put it away? That'd be fantastic. And so it kind of gets you out of that mode of being frustrated to being creative. Even if I don't make that invention, because odds are I probably won't, it's just not my thing, but I'm thinking outside the box, and I'm trying to solve my problems. So if I one day have a problem and I solve it in my own head with some imaginary thing, then who knows, it might be the next thing that I can make, or that I can do, a service that I can add to somebody. So you just never know. You just got to turn your problems into creative ideas, and just get quiet. Get in a quiet room. I try really hard to do that. It's not very easy for me, but I love waking up in the morning if I can, and having some quiet time to just really think about what I can do. And I do a lot of research on and just keeping your mind open. You don't have to do direct sales if you don't want to do direct sales. I highly recommend it. Highly. It was the best thing for me over the last 5 years. Like I said, I know I'm no longer a part of it, but all that work, I'm still making about $1,000 a month in residual income. So, which we're going to talk about. If you don't know what residual income is, we're going to have a whole nother video on that. Tomorrow we're going to talk about something else that's good. Maybe we'll talk about the difference between residual income and earned income. Peace. I was made for this.